Aboraboy, this is Olua Fakolade of Idinka Ifa Temple. We welcome you to our Ile Juba Temple service today. We have a special one for you. The curse has been lifted. Before we begin, we always like to begin with prayer. So if you are near your Ifa or any of your Ifa shrines, please find yourself at that location and put your head to the floor. If you have no shrine, please give reverence to Almighty God and the way that you do. And we want to begin. Mojuba Ọlọ́run, Mojuba Lẹ́dà, Mojuba Olódùmarè, Mojuba Bòbòrúmọlẹ̀, Mojuba Bóyè Malẹ̀, Mojuba Bóyè Gùn Tẹ̀m̀bẹ̀lẹ̀ Sólódùmarè, Mojuba Ọ̀ṣungbọ̀dẹ̀, Mojuba Gbọ̀dẹ̀, Mojuba Fracadamus, Mojuba Tuo, Mojuba Flori, Mojuba Fala Oriente, Mojuba Philippe Zalaweto, Mojuba Gunjobi, Mojuba Mieye, Mojuba Shamola, Mojuba Shalanko, Mojuba Mitonade, Mojuba Shubi, Mojuba Baseju Manade Funifra. Mojuba to all of my elders, Mojuba to those who have taught me Ifa. Baba Robert Edmonds, my father, Mojuba, Iya Catherine Edmonds, my mother, Mojuba, Loye Sholagbade Popola, Mojuba, Irawo Ifa Olonla, Mojuba, Agbola, Mojuba, Felipe Garcia Villamil, Mojuba to all of our elders. Ajogbe. He who hears people's pleas and accepts the pleas. He who hears people's pleas and approves of the pleas. He who talks to people and ensures that the talks are completely absorbed. He who hears people's pleas and accepts the pleas. Name Rifa. He who hears people's pleas and approves these. His name Shoda. He who talks to people and ensures that the talks are completely absorbed. His name Vashana. Vashana is the person Muslim beings. The person Muslim cannot fail to impress one. It's like frogs on some's rainfall. Bullfrogs on some's downpour. It is whatever the area, Drupon, true tells earth what it accepts. Whatever the big rat tells earth what it accepts. All what I tell you, Ifa, please accept them and approve. Turete. Ifa, we're very thankful. Turete, to show gratitude upon gratitude is the hour of our gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the hour of our benevolence. We often not show gratitude for your says benevolence, such a person not receive today's gratuity. These are decorations Ifa to the floor and run the I'm going to marry your play. Daughter of Ishbuji. These also decorations Ifa to Orumila. We're going to marry your play. Daughter of Ishbuji. I'm grateful for our sleep and gratuity. I'm grateful for your says favor. Today's gratuity. All to Arete, we are very grateful. I share. Awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure, adupe, ane, awa bure, tune, Olodumare, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure. Adúpẹ́ àná òwúrọ̀ tó nẹ́bọ̀ orí àní àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bòrẹ́ àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bòrẹ́ adúpẹ́ àná òwúrọ̀ tó nẹ́bọ̀ ẹrú mọ̀lẹ́ àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bòrẹ́. Àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bòrẹ́, àdúpẹ́ àná àwa bòrẹ́ tó nẹ́bọ̀ ẹ̀gún lòrìṣà. Ifa, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for all the blessings that you've given us today. Ifa, we ask for forgiveness. Forgive us for anything that we may have done wrong, anything we may have done incorrect, any taboo we may have broken, advertently or inadvertently. Eros my tutu. Pounding down without soup can be very difficult to consume. These were decorates Ifa to a tutu, the child of Agbenerico. He was full of bad character. His bad attitude had prevented him from entering Tifa's domain. Now it comes to assist on behalf of Tutu. We've come to beg on behalf of Tutu. How many children does Ifa have that he would cast one out? Those who beg on behalf of Tutu, please forgive us. Ifa, we ask that you would push away death, push away sickness, push away cases and controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights from us. Support us and bring to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, longevity, prosperity, victory over adversity, peace of mind, joy, healing, success, and all good things of life. We call on Ogbe Alara. Aruna said it is time to sleep. I echo it is time to sleep. When the day dawned, I met Aruna in the 16th room, where he covered his head with a flowing gown full of lights. He was wearing a dress full of blessings. He was snoring heavily. They told him that delegate from his stock route. Aruna inquired what the delegate about. They told him they brought 2 rats swift and running, 2 fish graceful swimming, 2 birds swift in flight, and 2 goats with big livers. Aruna said that is not enough to wake him up. I admit my ignorance, please educate me. Motuna Karaba, I hide myself in your bosom and survive. Motuna Karaba, the dog can mask the beast. I got him, really. How many, the dog cast, beast, I got him, really. If they had brought Arumila all these things, and Arumila said, that is not enough to wake him up. Now, we brought alligator pepper, we got colonna, bitter colonna, and or tea. That is enough to wake him up. The heavenly stars below, those are the things that give us credence for this. We come in giving you tea, obi, orogbo, and atare pepper. Please, with the heavenly stars below, they give credence to all of these blessings. Please bless us. Hear our prayers with this. Asher, Oshe, Aruela. We ask that you ward off all the ajogun from us. Ward off death, ward off sickness, ward off cases and controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, outright fights, ward off witchcraft and negative energy from us. Bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, and all the good things of life. I share. Please move my ego out of the way so that we can hear a word of Ifa from you. Move my ego out of the way so that we can hear words of Ifa. Emma kami mene ama, Emma kami mene ano, Emma kami mene adelokun. Tamule tori Ifa lonimi, ebora timpanini, eni banami, ahun ati Ifa lelejo. Ashe, Ifa, hear our prayers, Oshe, Tanya the feudal tubu, Cypher comments, not big enough to use his headgear. Had I been enough to use his headgear, I would have taken it home and done my hair with it. Easy for decorations to order a lot. We're going to spend your mission to Jebel. We can't look to me and pay money. Consults can make rich. Can't out a lot to respect and the Jibbling. Oshe realize to get our wool. Oshe tra. I kick in baggy side. The extra sharp against the tree cast about. You see, I'm not safe from little. If no one is wealthy, surely be wealthy. I kick in baggy side. And the mouth of those I tibana share. In the mouth of an wool. No, she's a victory, surely victory. I kick in the baggy side. In the mouth of an old Zatibana share. In the mouth of an wool. No, she shall joy, surely joy. I kick in the baggy side. In the mouth of an old Zatibana share. In the mouth of an wool. To Essie, may be so, surely shall it be. Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Bọ́bọ́n tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìrúnmọlẹ̀ ó bà, Ifá ó bà o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Bí mo dúró tí mo súre, bí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí mo súre, bí mo kúnlẹ̀ tí mo súre. Mo jọ̀kọ́ tí mo súre, ire tí mo sú orí ti bọ́. I don't know if we could put our hands on our ori. Ori ẹni làrúrẹ ìyẹni ọ, ori ẹni làrúrẹ ìyẹni. Mọ̀júlọ́ mi fà máa mórí, ori ẹni làrúrẹ ìyẹni. Àṣẹ o. Ọ̀bọ̀rẹ̀ ṣáàṣù. Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run àtìbàjájú. Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run ó ṣe Àrúnmìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Olódùmarè and all of the divinities, we ask that you would continue to ward off death, ward off sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights from us at this time. Bring to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, healing, joy, confidence. Give us the victory today. Ashe, Aboru, Aboye, Aboshisha, Aboto. Thank you for tapping in with us. Before I begin, I want to ask y'all to like and share, because I want to share some very powerful information with you, some very powerful E5 verses with you in regards to curses and us being able to protect ourselves from curses, us being able to recognize that the curses, the negative energy, all of these things have already been lifted. So we all know what a curse is. I don't need to go over that. I know that there are various types, and maybe we can even talk about that. But the most important thing I want to begin with is, if you want to lift the curses in your life, you should listen. Ifa is very powerful. Ifa has so many powerful things to add to us so that we have no need to be afraid of what anyone can do to us to bring us harm or be in danger. And I'm going to give you the techniques to be in alignment. I want to begin with a verse of Ogbe Obara. Ifa says one's business ought to be taken care of, and one's trade ought to be handled well. If one stays in the river to drain the water, therein water will splash on one's face, and splash into one's mouth, and splash all over one's body. This was Ifa's message for Oja Oboko when lamenting her inability to beget her own child. She was advised to offer Ebo. She complied. After giving birth to the baby, she named that baby Ayinle. When Iyenle grew up, she too was lamenting her inability to give birth to a baby. She was advised to offer Ebo. The owl asked her to use Aja, dog, as Ebo material. She complied. After giving birth to her baby, she named her baby Ijanja. When Ijanja grew to be an adult, she never saw her menstrual cycle for any day in her life. She too wept in lamentation of her inability to give birth to her own baby. She was advised to offer Ebo and was asked to go and meet her mother at the riverbed. I have brought Obiabata to come and meet my mother. Erin Zogun Ola, the elephant has honor and it in its inheritance. Offspring of the elephant, that marches majestically with honor. In Janja, here I come, the daughter of Eyinle, who resides in the river. I brought Obi Abata to come and meet my mother. I have really come in search of my mother. In Janja, I have brought Obi Abata and have also brought Atare, alligator pepper, to come and meet my mother. I have come in search of my mother. Ayinla, please come quickly and take all the ritual materials from your daughter. Erin Jogunla, offspring of the elephant that marches majestically with honor. Ejanja, here I come, daughter of Ayinle, who resides in the river. I have brought a matured ram to come and meet my mother. I have come in search of my mother. Ayinle, please come quickly and accept all ritual materials from me. Erin Jogunla, Omo Erin Ti Folayan Injanja. Here I come, the daughter of Ayinle, who resides in the river. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of several children. Several children is what Ifa guarantees. So in this Ifa verse, there was a woman by the name of Oja Oboku. And this woman had a very good life. She lived with her husband and her husband's family. And she was happy, but she was not totally fulfilled. Her husband loved her, her in-laws loved her, and as a matter of fact, it was to such a degree that her in-laws didn't even treat her like an in-law. They treated her like a daughter. They totally absorbed her into the family, and she never felt badly. She felt that she could not contribute to the family because she could not conceive a child. That is what Ojao Boku felt. She felt that she was incomplete without a child. So she went for Ifa consultation and asked if she would ever be blessed with the ability to have a baby. The Babalao told her that she should have peace of mind. All she needed to do was go and propitiate the Mother Earth, Ile, with one ram. And she did as Ifa required. 6 weeks after this, 6 weeks after she offered that ebo, she became pregnant. She was so excited, she gave birth to her own baby girl, and she gave birth to that baby girl with great ease. The whole family celebrated, and they named that baby girl Ainle, which means the egg laid by Ile. When Ainle grew up, she too got married, and she too was just like her mother. She was part of a beloved family. Her in laws loved her and cherished her. Her husband loved her, but she too did not have a child. She went for Ifa consultation and was told she too would be able to have a child. She was advised to offer Ebo of Aja, which is dog. And then she was told, after she offered this Ebo, to prepare the dog in long strips for consumption. And those strips were called Ijanja. These Ijanja were cut into bits and cooked with ayeri bomopon leaf. And she was given that to eat. After Iyinle ate that, she too became pregnant. She too gave birth to a baby girl, and that baby girl was named Ijanja. When Ijanja grew into adulthood, she too was involved in a very loving and empowering family. Her husband and her in laws loved her as well. She felt unfulfilled because she had a terrible secret. The secret that Ijanjan had is that she had never seen her menstrual cycle a day in her life. She was sad because she knew if she had no cycle, she could not give birth to a baby. And as a result of this, Ijanjan gave her own self negative self talk. She started talking to herself and gave herself all of these bad theories. Maybe she's not good enough. She felt like she wasn't good enough. She wasn't worthy of a blessing. She did not live a life that was good enough to be blessed. She felt like she too was cursed from birth. All of these things she gave herself. She was telling herself all of this negative self talk. And eventually, she went for Ifa consultation to see if she too could get pregnant. The Babalao told her that he knew her mother and he even knew of her grandmother, the story of her grandmother. And he said that the same question you asked is the same question they too asked. Would you be able to give birth? And the Babalao told her that indeed she would be able to give birth to a child. he told her to offer Ebo, but the Ebo was very unique because at this time, her great grandmother or her grandmother was so heralded by the community that the community had honored her by making her Orisha. What I mean by that is her grandmother was the deity that resided in the river. And so her grandmother was Orisha. How did she become Orisha? Because she had gone through so much toil and challenge, particularly around having a baby. And as a result, she lived this life of character to the degree where the community began to call on her own grandmother, Eyinle, as a result of the blessings that she got. We want the same ones. So the Babalao told her, go to the river Eyinle, which is named after your grandmother. Take one ram, 50 obi, 50 orogbo, and beans, epo, amala, all of these things. Take that to the river. And I want you to go there with drummers. And I want you to prepare foods and drinks and invite people and have a party there. Feed the river and pay homage to the spirit of your mother. She sang and danced, and the people also began to get possessed by the spirit of that river. And Ijanjan began to tell her mother all her problems. I have not had a cycle ever in my life. I feel unfulfilled. I've been giving myself all this negative self talk, and I'm coming to you for a solution. Ijanjan danced through the town with joy and confidence. And no sooner than when she arrived at her home, she realized that her menstrual cycle had begun. And this was the first time Ijanjan had ever had a menstrual cycle. Shortly thereafter, Ijanjan became pregnant and she too gave birth to several other children after that. In the Oduifa Ogbe Oba, we see how a perceived curse can also become the medicine for success. We can see how negative self talk or a self fulfilling prophecy can influence your life. This leads me to point number one. And that point is my adversity is my ammunition. My adversity is my ammunition. We see how a human being can become Orisha, but what did it take for her, Eyinle, to become Orisha? It took going through something, going through the mire and the muck. And some people say I'm going through BS, but the BS is fertilizer to grow you, to grow. And Orisha is a person who has lived a life so powerful and impactful that they have left a legacy of character for others to follow, to the degree that other people begin to call on that person who once lived and honor them in order to be just like them, to receive the blessings that they received. When we see a Yinle, we see a woman who has overcome her ailments and she has left a path of success for others to follow. When we see a Yinle, we see a woman who has lifted the curse. This leads me to my next point. It comes from a story. Well, it comes from the Odu Ifa Oturu Pombe. Ifa says Oturu strapped the calabash on his back, and Oturu strapped the keg. As we were strapping Mogbe Mogbe, so also was Mogbe Mosbe strapping the calabash. Akala, when did you come into this world? Before you began to give birth to children. Ifa's message for Adabi, reproach, who was the elder sibling of Ep, the curse, travelers to Ipo and Ofa town. Can't you see that Adabi, reproach, is more profound and more powerful than any curse? This leads me to define the term Adabi. Adabi is a kind of reproach. And what that basically means is if someone has wronged you in a way where they stole from your household, they murdered your loved one, and no one had anything to do, your loved one had no thing to do bad against that individual. They were innocent. You can utter a curse and basically say, this person will not progress because they've done that to me. Until this individual is caught, negativity will visit upon them. Many people have done this. And the deep thing about Adabi is that sometimes Adabi does not need to be uttered by you. Sometimes your own Ori and the spirits that walk with you will manifest Adabi on the perpetrator of the crime. In the Odu Ifa Osheka, Ifa talks about a story where in the area, I believe, of Kwara, there was a time when the Oba could not get any of his wives pregnant. And he was told to look for a woman who was poor, who had very little income. And he was told to marry this woman of lowly background. Marry that woman, and that will become the woman who will give birth to your children. So the king did this, and he married this woman, and that woman was the only one to become pregnant. But interestingly enough, after that was able to occur, the other wives were able to become pregnant as well. When that happened, the other wives got to such a degree of anger and disrespect that they said, you know what? We want to ensure that this servant woman, who the king was ordered to marry by Ifa in order to have his child, we want to ensure that she does not give birth to a healthy child. So what we will do, we will ensure that the day she goes into labor, we will put her in the pantry and make sure that she is in an uncomfortable space there. And hopefully she will die and the baby will die too. So these women who were mad, these were the other wives of the king. They were angry because, oh, this lowly, poor woman is now the king's wife. They made her to give birth in the pantry. She went into the pantry on the moment she went into labor, and she was in an uncomfortable space. If you know birth, you need room. You need to stretch out. It's not done well in a small environment. It's not done well in a small space. So as she was put in this space, this woman began to think, and she also began to pray. My ancestors, please help me. Olodumare, please help me. Give me a safe delivery. As she prayed even more, and she began to say, if anyone else in this house wants to give birth in this household to any safe and healthy child, they too must give birth in the pantry, or that child will die. And as this woman toiled and labored, she eventually was able to give birth to a healthy baby, to the surprise of all the haters. And as a result, those other wives, they too wanted to have their healthy babies as well. The issue came about when they went to have their children and went into labor the regular way. And like clockwork, all of those children would die. At a certain point, they went for Ifa consultation, and they were told that someone in this house has done wrong. Someone in this house has put an innocent woman in peril, and a curse came as a result of this. So now, every woman in this household who wants to give birth to a child that is healthy, you must now give birth in the pantry. When this occurred, this is what we call adabi. This leads me to my second point. And the second point is sometimes the curse is your crop. What do I mean by that? Sometimes the thing that you may consider to be a curse in your life is actually the negativity that you have sown upon the world, that you have done to somebody else. You might have done somebody else wrong. I know they say you reap what you sow, and you really do. If you have done wrong to a person unnecessarily, those bad actions create a ripple effect that can then visit upon yourself and your children and your generations to come. Sometimes the curse is a result of bad choices, bad actions. Sometimes the curse comes as a result of your own wrongdoing. So, how do we change that? We try to do our best in our treatment of others. We do our best. And that's all you can do. Now, this leads me to my next point. It comes from Erete Njaru. Ifa says the strong tuft of hair on the head of a babalawo, the tough beads around the neck of an herbalist. A babalawo who is well trained in the art of Ifa is not in the rank of any herbalist who possesses 800 pots of strong charms. This was the Ifa cast for Rumila when 1,460 herbalists were against him. Ifa is the owner of the wealth charm. Ifa is the owner of the spouse charm. Ifa is the owner of the charm of all Ire. Ifa is Oganrara Ele Gungumole. Give no importance to the mother of any herbalist who says that Ifa is nothing. When I am charged, I will recite my Ifa and claim all the charms belonging to the herbalist. Ifa is Ogan Rara Ele Gungun Male. This is so powerful. And it leads me to my third point. Ifa is bigger than your curse. Let me say that again. Ifa is bigger than your curse. In this Odu Ifa, Ifa is telling us that anyone using charms, witchcraft, brujeria, the dead, or any sort of imprecation, Ifa is the owner of it all. Ifa is bigger than them all. If this is the case, if Ifa is bigger than your curse, if Ifa is bigger than any imprecation that anybody can put against you, why should you worry? Why should we worry about the things that other people want to say, want to do, want to bring negativity against us, if we know that Ifa is bigger than that thing? Why worry? This leads me to my last and final point. It comes from the Odu Owunrin Erosu. Ifa says, Bedu Bedu Beregede Ifa's message for Oni today. Magbon, the one on the way to Irada land. When all evil principalities surrounded him in his home, he was advised to offer Ebo. He complied. I ate pounded yam in the home of Oni today to my satisfaction. Bedu Bedu Beregede. Let the death that is about to kill Oni today tell in our wall. Bedu Bedu Berugede. I ate yam flour meal in the home of Oni today to my satisfaction. Bedu Bedu Berugede. Let the death that is about to kill Oni today tell in our wall. Bedu Bedu Berugede. I ate cornmeal in the home of Oni today to my satisfaction. Bedu, Bedu, Beregede. Let the death that is about to kill Oni today tell in Awo. Bedu, Bedu, Beregede. I drank liquor in the home of Oni today to my satisfaction. Bedu, Bedu, Beregede. Let the death that is about to kill Oni today tell in Awo. Bedu, Bedu, Beregede. My final point is this, and this is the slogan of this temple. Tap in. Tap in. Simply tap in. Everybody type tap in. Ifa is saying that if you stay tapped in, then the curse or the witchcraft that is being sent to you by your enemy will be neutralized. Because Ifa will give you a heads up warning. Ifa will alert you to when danger is coming. Ifa will tell you what Ebo you need to offer in order to neutralize the problem before it starts. Before the car accident comes, Ifa will warn you. Before the death grips your family, Ifa will alert you. Before the problem arises, Ifa will show you. You may dream it. You may hear it in a song on the radio. That may be the message. The bottom line is if you are tapped in, Ifa will give you the inside information before the curse can mature to a level of effectiveness. The key is you gotta be tapped in. How do you get tapped in? I'm glad you asked. Some of the ways that we can prevent these negative things, even danger, from happening to us. Performing Oshe Ifa. every 4 days. Just giving Ifa kola nuts, giving Eshu kola nuts and bitter kola nuts, gin and palm oil every 4 days, and checking in, asking those faithful questions. Ifa, will my next 5 days be in Ire with your own kola nuts? Simple, yet often overlooked. In that moment, you are giving Ifa the opportunity to communicate with you. Oshe Ifa is so important because we are remaining connected to the deities. That is the purpose of devotion. If we are devoted to the deities, then if others are coming to harm us and we are in alignment, Ifa, Olodumare, Eshu will take it as a personal offense if others are coming to bring us down. Oshe Ifa is that opportunity to help us to stay tapped in and listen to the message that Ifa has for us. Another way, participating in Itadogun is how we stay tapped in. Ifa will reveal to us in our community divination what is the spiritual forecast for us for the next 17 days. What are the things that we need to avoid? What are the things that we need to embrace? What are the things that will be giving us strength so that we can maintain, even in the midst of economic decline, danger in the streets? What do we need to avoid? What do we need to embrace? Itadogun is like doing an elbow for every 17 days in advance. And if there are any major issues that could come up, Ifa will speak on them there. Other things that we can do to be tapped in: remain sensitive, be open to wise advice and counsel, follow the taboos of your Odu Ifa if you're initiated. If you cast Ifa consistently, follow the taboos. All these are ways that we can remain tapped in and close so that we can stay connected. The objective here is staying connected. Stay in tune. Stay in alignment. That's all that tapping in is. Tap in. You hear that term, check in. Sometimes we check in with the wrong human beings. Don't check in with them, check in with Ifa. You travel, check in with Ifa. Cast Ifa before you board that plane. Cast Ifa before you take that ride with that person. Cast Ifa before you make that big financial move. Cast Ifa, check in, and stay tapped in. Aboye, Aboshishe. I pray that this message has given you some clues, has given you some insight. I pray that what Ifa is sharing with us is something that is beneficial and meaningful. So, in closing, I want to let folks know today we have an Ifa class. The Ifa class is going to be on the topic of what is more important, your Odu or your Orisha. Knowing your Odu, knowing your Orisha. So I'm also going to be talking a little bit about the differences and the similarities between Lukumi and Isheshe. So if you want to learn more, tap in. You can register on the temple website below. There's limited space and limited time. So if you want to be a part of it, just let me know, or just go to the website. Also, if you would like to join our temple, you can go to the website and get more information there as well. If you like the things that we're doing here at Edin Kai Ifa Temple, please, please, please participate in the Taragun, join the temple, give donations. If you like what we're doing, please, once again, like and share. Share this with your friends, your family. One thing that I really try to do is make Ifa user friendly, particularly for our people, our community, and I want it to reach the masses. I want it to reach the masses, but I want it to reach us. So hopefully that is what we're accomplishing. In terms of that, before we close, I would like to pay homage to Olodumare and also give prayers. All right. And also, I know that there are people who have sent some shout outs, so I want to get on here and pay homage to those folks. Thank you for joining us. Aboru Aboye, Allison, thank you so much. Happy Sunday to you, Allison. Jojo King, Aboshishe Aboto. Taylor Crumpkin, Aboshishe Aboto, thank you so much. Maisha Walker Dean, thank you for joining us. Ifa Bangmila, yeah, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Baba Konsu, I believe that's how you say your name. Bro Konsu, good to see you. Thank you. All right, Dinah, thank you. Good to see you. All right, Ashe, Ifa is bigger than them all, bigger than your problem, right? Ifa Leke, good to see you. Thank you. Ashe, tap in. You got to tap in, folks. Tap in. That's why every time we do something, I say tap in, because you got to get tapped in. Aboshisha Boto, Fru. All right. Thank you. Tap in, tap in. All right. Ashe, yes, we do, Allison. All right. Olushola, Aboshisha Boto. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you, Catherine. All right. So as I said before, let us pray. Olodumare, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for supporting us. We ask that you will continue to move these negative things out of our way. Help us to remain connected, remain tapped in to you, tapped into source, so that we can always get the inside track. Being an Ifa practitioner, in many ways, if we utilize it to its best ability, it is like receiving the inside stock information. It is like getting the secret code. It is like cracking the code. It's like getting the cheat codes to these access points in the world. Olodumare, please help us to see Ifa in such a way and give us that insight. Give us the inside track. Give us a hint. Give us a hunch. Give us the message so that we can avoid the drama, so we can continue to fulfill our destiny. Ashe, Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Aboto. I pray that everyone is well throughout this week and that you are absolutely, positively, indubitably blessed. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe,
Aboru, boye, gbogbo awo. Aboru, boye, ẹ̀yin babaláwo. Èèyàn ìbọ̀rù, boye.